Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are well. I'm trying to get myself situated here. Just give me 2 seconds, and we're going to get this show on the road. Staff Peary, I see you. Is your name really Megan? I see you too. Is your name really Staff? That is so interesting to me that your name is Staff. Guys, can you see me? Can you hear me? Please tell me in the comments below. You know, I meant to do this before I jumped on here. I meant to apply this lotion because, you know, my elbows get ashy. Does anybody else have this problem? Or is it a black thing? Somebody tell me, is it a black thing or no? Because here it is. I'm sitting here with my elbows all ashy. Eugene, Eric Rogers is in the house. Eric, there's a young lady I need to introduce you to. She's definitely you. I'll tell you that. Lillian, Adrian, hello to you. Johnny, I see you. Right. Guys, tell me if you can hear me. Tell me now so that we can get the show on the road. L. Leon says loud and clear. Do you guys, do you struggle with your skin being ashy? Or is it just me? Tell me now so that I don't feel awkward, so that I don't feel like the odd one out. Break it down for me in the comments. Guys, I'm not going to be here long. A couple of things I want to share with you. And is my lighting okay? Guys, can you see me? Because, you know, dark-skinned black people, you need to sort of do your lighting right. You know, because if you don't, it sort of turns into something else. So I'm not an expert. You know, I have these lights, but I don't know what shade they're supposed to be. I don't even know where they're supposed to be placed, for goodness sake, as long as they turn on. Guys, giddy up, Steve Wilson says. Listen, when Steve Wilson tells you to get with the program, guess what? You get with the program. Guys, a couple of things I want to talk to you today. 4 things I want to talk to you today. I want to talk to you about today. We'll get it right in a moment. We will. Mayaya says, I have the driest skin. Guys, I need to highlight this. I feel your struggle. I do. And you know, what gets me is this. I mean, I've heard of melanin. But this melanin is on a whole new level, honey. I need to put some more on there because I just noticed. All right, here it is. Are we winning? Tell me we're winning. All right, here it is. All right, here it is. Here it is. We're going to get it right in a moment. Okay. 4 things I'd like to talk to you about today. Let me throw this back on there. Thank you, Mayaye. Appreciate that. The very first thing, I know I mentioned it yesterday, but I think it bears repeating today. One of the most misused words within the Zambian context is this word right here, petty. Everybody says this word, even when they don't know what the heck it means. First of all, most people that use this word have no idea. They have no clue what this word means. Not only do they not know what this word means, they oftentimes misapply it. Let me give you an example. So yesterday, as many of you recall, yesterday was the 12th of August. A year ago yesterday, we ceremoniously voted out the PF, the brutal PF, whom I refer to as the NPF, the Notorious Patriotic Front, and we installed a brand new administration under the name of UPND, under the leadership of one Hakainde Hichilema, who I think is a whole lot better than those rascals, the PF rascals. Well, I posted a celebratory video. I call it a celebratory video. I do. I mean, you know, it's the video where I showed, you know, I had a bunch of guys downstairs and I called them together and I said, look, when I shout Sean Tembo's name, you yell 0. Sean Tembo, for those of you that do not know, let me bring you up to speed. Sean Tembo was one of the presidential candidates that took part in the 2021 general elections here in Zambia. Well, not a single solitary person. And I know, listen, I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but I promise you it isn't. It's the truth. It is the absolute God honest truth. Not a single solitary human being within the circumference of this country voted for this guy. His name is Sean Tembo. He's a joke, basically. Nobody voted for him. So I said, I yelled out Sean Tembo's name, and my guys or my friends downstairs, I make it sound like they work for me. They don't work for me. They're guys, they're hustlers. You know the guys downstairs? Well, they yelled 0 because that's what he got. I mean, literally nobody voted for him. And then I yelled President Hakainde Hichileme's name. 2.8 million people voted for him, and we brought him in as our new president. Well, that celebratory video, I posted that, and guess what? This was the #1 word that most Zambians were using in relation to that video. Oh, well, you're so petty. What's petty about that? Do you even know what the word petty means? Let me break it down for you because some of you don't know. I'm going to tell you. The word petty means something that is trivial, something that is unimportant, something that is inconsequential, something that doesn't matter, something that's silly, something that's frivolous. Can you feel that? Are you feeling me? What was trivial about last year's election? Let me ask you that. There is not one single solitary thing that was trivial about last year's election. There was not one single solitary thing that was unimportant about last year's election. There was not one single solitary thing that was inconsequential about last year's election. So how in the entire hell do some of you come up and say, no mwewa, you are being petty? Give me a break. Give me a break before I lose my mind. Guys, my father used to say, when you use a word, know what the heck it means. Of course, my dad didn't use the word heck. That's just me. I'm gassing it up, okay? He used to say, before you use the word, know what it means. Otherwise, you end up sounding like a douche. Can we say douche on Facebook? Yeah? You're a douche. If you use a word that you don't understand, honey, you're a douche. You're a schmuck. We can say schmuck, can we? All right. Okay, enough of that. Next, there are 4 things I'm talking to you about. So that was the first thing. The next thing I want to talk to you about is this right here. Bowman's bid for re-election in Kabushi. Now, guys, here's the thing. Everybody knows. Let me bring you up to speed. Bowman Lusamba was the member of parliament for Kabushi. His seat was nullified. You know what the word nullification means? You know what nullification means? To nullify means to make something void, to make it impotent, okay? So his seat was nullified. The Concourt said, you know what, Bowman, you were using underhanded methods to gain this seat. You were using undue advantage to get this seat. You induced your victory, okay? You augmented your victory. You gassed it up, Bowman, okay? That's what you did. You gassed it up. And so the Concourt said, we're going to put a bullet through your election right now. We're going to put a line through your name instead of under it. So they took his seat away from him. So he is no longer the member of parliament for Kabushi. Well, Bowman, being Bowman, stood up and said, well, you can take my seat all you want to. I am going to recontest, he said. But he didn't end there. He said, this election is going to be different, he said. He said, this election, I'm not going to canvass. I'm not going to campaign. I'm not going to go door to door. I'm not going to engage. I'm going to sit home and watch Netflix and DSTV because my name is going to campaign for me. Okay, now let's be clear. He didn't say Netflix, but he meant the same. Basically, what Bowman said was, I'm not going to go out there and canvass because my name is going to campaign for me. Well, here's the problem with that, Bowman. That doesn't work in Zambia. Forget it. In Zambia, not only do the electorate want to see you and they want to touch you, honey, in Zambia, the electorate want something from you. You're going to have to extend your hand. Now, here's the difference between Bowman campaigning in Kabushi during the PF and Bowman campaigning in Kabushi post-PF, after PF. During the PF, when Bowman was campaigning, honey, he had a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. During the PF, when Bowman was campaigning in Kabushi under the umbrella of the Patriotic Front. And this was a time when the PF were in power. This was the time when the PF called the shots. This was the time when the PF were riding high on the saddle. This was the time when the PF thought that they were the be-all and end-all, honey. They thought that their reign was going to stand firm for 1,000 generations. This was during that time. During that time, Bowman fokotoled. Do you know what it means to fokotola? Somebody tell me in the comments below before I continue. I'm going to tell you now. Somebody said you look great. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine Brantley. Bless you. Tell me in the comments if you know what it means to fokatola. To fokatol. In my language, we say fokatol. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you find a bucket full of money. Okay, there are 20s in there, there are hundreds, there are 50s. To fokatol means you just grab a bunch of money. The money that's in your hand, you don't know how much is in there. It could be 3,000, it could be 300,000. During the PF used to fokatol. They had a pot of gold, courtesy of Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Taxpayer, AKA you and I, honey. Okay? You and me, our taxpayers' money is what the PF used to do. They used to grab our taxpayers' money and they used to fokatol. So during the PF, when Bowman was campaigning, he fokatoled, honey. He just walked up to that pot of gold. He just grabbed that money, boy. He starts dishing it out. And he starts saying, boy, I tell you what, as I give you all these chitengas and mealy meal, as soon as I'm done here, honey, my wife and I are going to Dubai. We're going to buy perfume and jewelry worth 2 million kwacha because everybody knows what's 2 million. What's 2 million? See, in those days, that's how Bowman did it. But honey, now that the PF are no longer in power, guess what? Bowman doesn't have a pot of gold. Bowman no longer has the privilege to fokatol. None of those PF cats have the privilege, have the wherewithal, have the dexterity, honey, to fokatol. You know why? Because they're broke. They're broke as hell. They're broke as hell. Those brothers and sisters are B-R-O-K-E. Broke, honey. Broke. So now, when you have a party that's broke, and then Bowman says, well, I'm not going to campaign. I'm going to recontest my seat, but I'm not going to campaign. You know why he's saying that? Because he no longer has the privilege to fokatol. There is no pot of gold anymore. He has to now give of himself. He has to contend with that little word called sacrifice. Ooh, that's a big one there, boy. Sacrifice mess you up. You think those PF vagabonds know what sacrifice is? They couldn't, listen, PF couldn't recognize the word sacrifice if it hit them right square in the face. Those boys know nothing about sacrifice. All they know is to get where they haven't been given, is to reap where they haven't sown, is to plunder. That's all they knew. So good luck to you, Bowman. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible because, let's be honest. Politics being what it is, it's possible. I mean, he could. The guy could win. Who knows? All I'm saying is that it's highly improbable. There's a difference, folks. There's a difference. There's a difference between something being completely impossible, which is, I'm not saying it's impossible for Bowman to win. Again, I'm just saying it's highly improbable. Know the difference. Okay. Next thing we're talking about. What are we talking about? Oh, goodness, here it is. Oh, I heard this on the news. Esther Chungo leaves Tibewange show. This is fantastic. You know why? You know that Tibewange show, it was a platform where, these women, it was like The View, Zambia's version of The View. These four beautiful women that would sit around a table and they would talk about current issues, have a few guests on there. And because of the way they designed the promo clips, some of us got hoodwinked into thinking that those girls didn't get along. The truth is, those guys love each other. They support each other. Esther Chungo loves Mutale Mwanza loves Esther Chungo. But because of the way they used to edit the clips, they did that to get us viewers hooked on the show. And they somehow subliminally made us think that those two, or there are a few of those women on that show, were at each other's necks, when the truth is they weren't. Those guys love each other. So here it is. The news is that Esther Chungo has left the show. And if she has, that's great. You know why? Because now she has her own spinoff. The other lady has the same thing. But Esther has she has a show called, what is it? Blossom with Esther, I think it's called. And let me tell you why I love this. I love this because now I feel that Esther is in her element. She's a Christian woman and she's got this Christian platform that she can take advantage of. And I'm thrilled for her because I know that, of course, Tibewange gave her a boost, and this was Tibewange gave her a platform to be. I mean, she was recognized anyway. I mean, Esther Chungo is a very well-known, well-renowned Christian music artist. Okay, Tibewange just sort of propelled her further than what she was. Now, this new show, Blossom with Esther, I know it's going to be fantastic. So good for you, Esther. We wish you all the best, and we love you, kiddo. We do. We love you. Say hi to your husband. Okay. Lastly, did you guys hear about this? Salman Rushdie. You know who Salman Rushdie is? He's a British author. He's an Indian British author. Years ago, back in 1988, I remember this. Some of you are too young to remember this. I remember this. I remember this like it was yesterday. Back in 1988, okay, let me give you some context. Back in 1988, Salman Rushdie, who's an author, he wrote a book called The Satanic Verses, okay? And it was basically an attack on the religion of Islam, okay? And the Muslim community, naturally, they didn't like that book. And there was a militant component or a militant sect within the Islamic faith that threatened to kill Salman Rushdie because of this blasphemous book. The Muslim community said, how blasphemous of you to insinuate that the Prophet Muhammad was not spoken to by the angel Gabriel, but was actually spoken to by Satan himself. And that the book of Islam, the Quran, didn't come from God. The Quran, according to Salman Rushdie, came from somewhere else. Well, the Muslim community, they were furious. They were up in arms. And the Ayatollah, back in those days, actually, he put a what do you call it? A bounty on Salman Rushdie's head. So Salman Rushdie, this author, went into hiding because this book, this blasphemous book that he wrote, according to the community of Islam, they didn't like that. So here it is now. yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Salman Rushdie was in New York City. Some guy jumped on stage and he stabbed Salman Rushdie several times in the neck. I mean, ferociously. Stabbed him in the neck. Right now, Salman Rushdie is fighting for his life. He can't speak, he can't talk because his neck is all messed up. Okay, so what's the lesson there? The lesson there is, you know, when it comes to religion, religion is a very that's shaky ground, especially when you're every religious grouping has radicals in it. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. It could be Christians, it could be Hindus, it could be Muslims, whoever. Every religion has fanatics in it, okay? And this fanatic got to Salman Rushdie from 1988 to today. Salman Rushdie has lived a life in fear from 1988. But they finally got him yesterday, which is, you know, it's sad that they finally got him. Anyway, did you guys hear about that? Did you hear about that? So here's this. Trevor says, the news about Salman Rushdie stabbing is very, very, very sad. You know, let me tell you. Let me give you this piece of information. Many years ago, when I first became a Christian, there was a film that came out that depicted the person of Christ as living an alternative lifestyle. I can't even say the word that they used. I can't do it. Just know what I'm talking about. Okay, let me say that again for those. I'll say it slowly so that you get it, because I can't say that word and equate it to Christ the Redeemer. I can't do that. Okay. Well, this film came out that it depicted the person of Christ as someone that lived an alternative lifestyle. The Christian community, we lost our minds. We said, we can't have this. Who in the hell you think you are? Now, here's the thing. This is what I believe. I believe you can't force people to be what they don't want to be. Okay? People are people. People are going to say what they're going to say. They're going to do what they're going to do. Even if you kill them, it's not going to get rid of it. You know why? Because human beings, being human, tells you we're flawed, fickle human beings. Okay, we're flesh. We're going to miss the mark. We're not perfect. And so if you see someone attack your faith, it's painful. It is. It's painful. But don't go out and kill somebody because somebody attacked your faith. And I know as a novice, as a new, especially when you become a convert, a new convert, that's a very tricky time, because if you don't have the right guidance as a new convert, regardless of the faith, it's very easy for you to lose your way, because in your mind, you think you're pleasing God. I mean, the guy that the guy that attempted to kill Salman Rushdie, he's a radical. He's in police custody right now over there in New York City. You know what he's doing? He's happy because in his mind, he has done God's bidding. In his mind, he feels that he has done God a service. So he doesn't feel bad. He's not sitting in a prison jail cell somewhere saying, "Oh, what have I done? Oh, what got into me?" No. Radical religious fanatics. It doesn't matter where they're from, whether they're Christian fanatics or Muslim fanatics or Hindu fanatics or Sikh fanatics. Fanatics, in their mind, they don't feel bad. They don't. They feel that they've done God a service. So that guy, in his mind, he thinks he's done God a service. So what's the lesson? The lesson is you can't force people to be what they don't want to be. When they came out with that film that showed the person of Christ, Christ the Redeemer, the lily of the valley, the rose of Sharon, the bright and the morning star, a gale of spices from heaven's gates, showing Christ the Redeemer in that context. Ooh, that was painful to watch, boy. That made you mad. But you can't wake up and say, well, let's go bomb the producers, the people that made that film. Let's go kill all of them in the name of die in the name of Jesus. What kind of craziness is that, boy? It's nuts. Anyway. All righty. That's what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to share that with you. How long have I been? 26 minutes. That's a long time, mate. That is. All right, guys, I got to go. I got to go. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Am I going to throw up some of your comments here? Are we doing that? Are we doing some comments or no? All right, let me just check my connection here just to make sure. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Well, hey, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to throw this back on here. Have a great day.